Good morning, Unity on the Avenue. How are you? This is a song I wrote about exactly what I say to you every week, that wherever we are, God is, right? This tune is called My Place. Actually, it's called Our Place. This is our place, come on in. Our place, we're so glad you're here. Our place, everybody's welcome. We see God on every face. This is our place, sit right down. Our place, so glad you're here. Our place, everybody's welcome. We see God on every face. Aren't you glad you found your way home to a family of friends where you know you are never alone? This is our place, come on in. Our place, wherever you are, our place. Everybody's welcome, we see God on every face. Love is here in this place. Welcome right here, right now, to our place, our sweet place. You can clap early. Thank you so much. I bet you all know this song. I love this song. It's spring. This song makes me think of spring. I'm going to sing it to you, and then I'm hoping you'll sing with me. We are living, you know this? Living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. That's all you have to sing, but I'm going to do a verse for you just because. Morning comes shining through the trees. The green grass shimmers on the summer breeze. Songbirds sing to the honeybees. Living in the heart of God. Here we go, everybody. We are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. Told you it was going to be easy. Let's do it again. How about just a smidge louder? Here we go. We are living in the heart of God. You got it. We are living in the heart of God. One last time. We are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Justine, and I would like to welcome you here to Unity on the Avenue Spiritual Center. I'd like to welcome Karen Karsh and her beautiful and spirited music into our sacred space today. So thank you, Karen. Here at Unity on the Avenue, we are a radically inclusive community. We welcome people from all walks of life, all races, all spiritual and religious traditions, and even those who are not on a faith path. Everyone is welcome here, and particularly you are welcome here. A couple of announcements this morning before we settle into our time of worship. Reverend Doris will be offering a Monday night Zoom class starting on tomorrow evening, April 4th, called Creating Sustainable Prosperity. This class will address the process and steps on building a consciousness of abundance and how it is an evolutionary process. For more information, you can contact Reverend Doris directly at the email on the screen. So thank you.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. Yes, I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Beautiful. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity on the Avenue, and welcome to April. As we get ready for our beautiful worship this morning and our message, let us reflect on guidance this morning. For in this sacred place, in this sacred moment of prayer, let us relax and set aside our concerns and experience the presence of love of the divine spirit. What helps us most is knowing that we are going on an inward journey, and as we focus on the presence of God within us, love resonates within every human heart and mind as one true light, for spirit is always with us, around us, uplifting us. Whatever seems so challenging just a few moments ago, before we sit and started to contemplate, now we know it is manageable, even solvable with God. For God is always with us, within us, our hope of glory. Know that in the silence of your soul, God guides you with divine understanding, that little voice that you hear when you hear a bird. When you hear the birds chirping, know that is God talking to you. The loving spirit of other words and kindness of love. We give thanks to Spirit for guidance and understanding and inspiration to create a world of peace and harmony. And our Bible reading is Psalms 25, verse 5. It says, "Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I will wait all day long." And so it is, and so we are. Amen. And now, would you join me, please? And let's read our statement of faith. Or better yet, if you just want to feel it, know that there is one power and one presence in the universe and in my life. God the good, omnipotent.
Alleluia. Alleluia. Just like that. Alleluia. 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 We are one now. 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 We are one. So we sing Alleluia. I see trees that are green, smell red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I can hear sweet babies cry. We all watch them grow. They're gonna learn more than you and I are ever gonna know. And I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky. Just like the faces of the people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? What I really think they're saying is, I love you. You betcha, I'm talking right to you. I see trees, they are green. I smell red roses too. Oh, what a wonderful world.
And that is what we know to be true. Good afternoon and blessings. What a wonderful world, especially now that our piano is tuned. Yippee! Karen is a very spiritual being, and she came very close to threatening me. Karen Herbie Trail, welcome, 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 and thank you. My name is Dr. David Goldberg, and we are Unity on the Avenue. And as dear Eustaine so beautifully spoke into the space, wherever you are on your journey, you're welcome here. Ours is not a teaching of condemnation. Ours is not a teaching of sin. Ours is a teaching of each and every one of us as an original blessing. And that is what I see in you, and I recognize and honor that light. So thank you. And when I heard our beautiful Opal welcoming everybody and welcoming us to the month of April, this is where my head goes. Many of you know that Donald Duck had 3 nephews, right? And Donald Duck's 3 nephews are... Yep, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Very good. And now, the actual trivia quiz, Daisy Duck also had 3 nieces. What are Daisy's nieces' names? Come on. April, May, and June. There you go. The next time you're on Jeopardy and you answer the final Jeopardy question, you're welcome, and thank you for your tithe of 10%. So it truly is. It's a new month and so much newness and so many beginnings. And forgive me, I just can't bring myself to say new beginnings. It's a bit redundant. So today we're speaking of beginnings. We have a new ministerial structure. We have new board members. We have a new board structure. It's all kinds of growth. It's all kinds of expansion. And we had a board meeting yesterday, and one of the beautiful beings around the table said, "I'm just a toddler." And we're all toddlers in this experience, right? This is the first day that we have all celebrated together exactly in this configuration and exactly in this space. So thank you. Thank you for choosing to be a part of the gorgeous and glorious. That was the mashup of gorgeous. The gorgeous and glorious community that is Unity on the Avenue. And we're so grateful that you're here. And before I launch into my talk on beginnings or the productive growing of the present, I just wanted to take a moment of personal privilege and acknowledge my beloved Rick. Today is the 8th anniversary of our first date, and it has been a wonderful journey, and we are so grateful for the love and support of this community, so thank you for that. So we're talking about beginnings. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Oh my gosh, so many different ways and different directions we can take that. And last week, I shared with you my geekiness over the Oscars, and oh my gosh, what an interesting celebration and activity was that night, right? If we're talking about contrast. So we had the awards, we had the celebration of all things good, of all things dynamic. If you saw any of the movies or not, one of my mottos is never postpone joy. So for those in that industry, we bless them for the gifts that they continue to bring us. And the other thing that struck me, both as a minister and as a human, is every year they do the obituaries. And it tends to be a slower song, and it tends to be a bit of a dirge. And these are all the wonderful beings that we lost during the past year. And this year, they still had all of those videos and reminded us of those who have moved beyond the veil and left their physical bodies. And yet, this year, they had a gospel choir accompanying the obituaries. And rather than just running a video, they had people come out and speak their truth about 2 or 3 of the people that they wanted to highlight, if you will. One of those beings was Sir Sidney Poitier, and another one of those beings was Betty White. And what a moment it was when Jamie Lee Curtis came out holding a puppy with a gospel choir in the middle of the obituaries. And she recognized, of course, Betty for all of her love of people and her tremendous body of work and her love of four-leggeds and for all sentient beings. And later, just by way of, and she encouraged everyone to go to their shelter and adopt shelter pets. And later we learned that John Travolta and his 11-year-old son adopted that dog that Jamie Lee brought forward. And we had the opportunity to watch Lady Gaga and Liza Minnelli interact, 2 legends, and they were human in that moment, and they were kind to each other. And Gaga said, "I got you," and Liza Minnelli said, "I know." And isn't that our faith walk? Isn't that what we are here to do, right? As the country song says, sometimes we lead, sometimes we follow. Sometimes we get to provide that support, and sometimes we get to reach out and know that we embrace that support. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the slap heard around the world. And isn't that interesting? I don't know what you think about that or where you come down on that. I try to see different sides and all opinions, and I just don't know. I don't know the backstory. I don't know the personal interactions. I don't know the tension of sitting in the front row with 80 million people watching and being nominated for an Academy Award. And thank you, Spirit, for not having me have to have that experience. So as a part of that then, what that raised for me, I was having a conversation with a colleague, and we were talking about anger. And we were having the conversation around, can anger be constructive? And I'm still being with that, and I'm making progress, but thank you for your support of me in that work. And my colleague said, David, as ministers, we don't have the luxury of being able to be angry. And at first, my human self kind of went, I know what they meant. And as I continued to unpack that, what came to me, I was thinking, how can I be open and honest and transparent and authentic if I'm not allowed to feel a basic human emotion that I would humbly suggest everybody in the room and everybody on the planet has felt? And as I was with that, I continued to tease that out. And what I'm working with now is anger in and of itself is not a bad thing. We all get to be with that. We all get to feel that. Nobody is saying don't feel a human emotion. Where we get sideways is in the expression of that anger, right? So I sense that my colleague wasn't saying we don't get to be human and we can't feel anger. My colleague was saying we are rightfully held to a higher standard in how we express that anger. So that is what I am being with, and that is where I'm at in that moment. So those of us of a certain age will remember, going to take you on a bit of a sentimental journey. Debbie Reynolds would have celebrated her 90th birthday on April 1st. And I did not know this about Ms. Reynolds. She was originally a dancer. She was a dancer and a performer. And very early in her career, she suffered a life-changing event in the form of either a badly sprained or a broken leg or a broken ankle. And she was angry. She was a young woman in her prime, and she knew her trajectory, and she knew what she loved, and she knew what she wanted to do. And I'm not saying that anybody calls in any kind of illness or physical pain. When she had that experience, she got to think about things in a different way. So she was angry. She was angry with herself for being clumsy. And she was angry with her family. And she was angry with the medical community for not being able to fix that. And as part of her recovery, she started listening to the radio. And she started singing along with all of the different radio stations that she was able to listen to. So, through her anger, through her allowing herself that process, she then was able to move a different direction, to embrace her vocal ability, to embrace her acting ability, and the rest is history. So again, as I reflect on that then, I was drawn to the cleansing of the temple narrative that tells of Jesus expelling the merchants and the money changers from the temple. This is one of those stories that is recounted in all 4 of the canonical texts of the Gospels in the New Testament. So in that account, if you're not familiar, Jesus and his disciples traveled to Jerusalem for Passover, where Jesus expels the merchants and the consumers from the temple, accusing them of turning it into a den of thieves and a house of trade through their commercial activities. So it is interesting then, we learn in Matthew, and Jesus went into the temple of God and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves, and said unto them, It is written, My house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. And in John, we get even more detail. And making a whip of cords, he drove them out of the temple with the sheep and the oxen. He poured out the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. And he told those who sold the pigeons, Take these things away. Do not make my Father's house a house of trade. So, was Will Smith angry at someone making fun of his wife's medical condition? Absolutely. And was it okay for him to express that anger by assaulting someone? In my opinion, no. Violence is never the answer. So let us be conscious of how we express our anger and all of our human emotions, remedy our errors, and then release them without regrets or worries. The founder of our teaching, Charles Fillmore, wrote that metaphysically, the Son of Man is that which discerns the difference between truth and error. And that's in his book, The Revealing Word, Son of Man. He further points out, when we get this understanding, we're in a position to free our soul from sin and our body from disease, which is the effect of sin. So then, that moves us to that place of forgiveness. And the overarching thought, my friends, when we speak of forgiveness, is that includes ourselves. So 3 perhaps simple, although not easy, steps for forgiveness. The first is to accept God's forgiveness and not hold ourselves in error. The grace of God is ours for the claiming. We don't have to beseech. We don't have to request. We simply get to allow it in because it is forever in the field, you see. So if we're not feeling that, if we're not in alignment with that grace, that is up to us to allow ourselves to move into that space. Because we can't let our lights shine as brightly as we would like for them to be, as brightly as Spirit would like them them to shine if we're filling ourselves with negative thoughts and images of others or ourselves. So the charge then is to remember the lesson, not the disappointment. And what's in it for me, right? Because the common thread of my life is I'm present, whether I choose to acknowledge it or not, for all of the activities that are my life. So what's in this for me? What in this moment, good, bad, exuberant, awful, sickening, maddening, what's in it for me? Why am I having this experience? What is mine to learn about this opportunity? And as we also read in the Bible, don't lose the message through the messenger. So as we are in that space of what's in it for me, I've had conversations with congregants who are saying, David, I'd like to hear more God. I'd like to hear more, more perhaps of the traditional teaching. And I have people saying, David, you have changed so much since you started speaking in the pulpit. What is all this God stuff? As long as you're not talking about God, I'm not coming back. And I bless them in their experience, and I encourage them not to lose the nuggets, not to lose the kernels, right? Don't lose whatever bit of wisdom I may or may not be sharing because you don't like the delivery system or you don't like the terminology. I have a good friend, Eileen, and she loves to travel, and she's really good at it. And she was talking about being in France before Notre Dame had the fire. And she went into the Notre Dame Cathedral, a glorious structure, and you're talking about amazing energy. And she sat through a service that was in French and Latin. And I said, Eileen, do you speak French or Latin? And she said, no. And I said, what did you get from the service? And she said exactly what I needed to get from the service. She could either fill in her own words, or she could say la, 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 and just allow the feeling to fulfill her. So that is what I offer you, my friends. I'm grateful that you are here. I'm grateful for those who are joining online. And I bless you in your experience of getting exactly what you need from our time together today, whether it's from the message or the announcements or the classes that we're offering or the beautiful music. I know that you are being filled. So our first step then is to accept God's forgiveness and not hold ourselves in error. The second step then is to correct the error with constructive action. And do remember, whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. So that is a choice. So not making a choice is a choice. Speaking of action, Will Smith apologized. He resigned from the academy, and he said that he would accept all future rulings and sanctions by the academy. So he acted out. He acted out in a moment of human anger, and he's doing what he knows to correct and move on. And for me, as I work with the human expression of anger, my intention is to meditate more and to do more physical activity. And for me, that looks like walking my dog, walking our dog, and working out. And I would very much appreciate your support in holding me to that commitment and that intention. And then the third piece then is to press on toward the goal. Let's be where we are. Let's learn what is ours to do. Let's learn from it, and let's move forward. It's that darn action step again, right? Treat and move your feet. Pray and take action, whatever words you choose to use. Some of you might remember in 1980, Eric Heiden was an amazing American speed skater. He won 3 world championships in a row leading up to the 1980 Olympics. And at the Olympics, he was favored in all 5 events that he was entered in. He had already won 2 gold medals. He was in his 3rd race. In the final of that race, he had a minor slip. And you could hear the collective of the United States go, as we were watching our TVs or whatever we were doing in that moment. And he went on to win that gold medal, and he went on to win 2 more gold medals after that, becoming at that point the most decorated U.S. Olympian to win 5 gold medals in individual sports. And somebody was speaking with him about that and said, what was going through your mind at that moment? And he said, part of my training for training all of these years and doing all of these things is that we get to be human and mistakes are going to happen. And I can learn from it and I can self-correct now in hundredths of a second and continue on my way doing what my body knows how to do. My mind knows it, my body knows it, my soul knows it. And so I get to forgive myself and keep moving. And so in there, I think, is a lesson for all of us. I loved this, forgive me. He took home more gold from the 1980 Winter Olympics than Finland, Norway, the Netherlands, Switzerland, West Germany, Italy, Canada, Hungary, Japan, Bulgaria, the country then known as Czechoslovakia, and France combined. Go, Eric. And knowing what is his to do and stepping forward in his action, he went on to follow in his father's footsteps and has become a successful orthopedic surgeon. And so as I remember that then, my friends, as I remember the journey of stars and saints and sinners and humans and all of us that are in this amazing, wonderful, marvelous collective together, I'm reminded of the song from Carousel that tells us, walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. Bless you. Thank you. Please join me in prayer. How good it is to know that the universe is always conspiring for our good and that God always has our back, regardless of what it looks like to our human eyes. I am grateful for this season of newness. I appreciate the plants popping through the ground. I appreciate all of the baby animals being born. I appreciate the thought of newness at the beginning of a new month through our human construct. What I know to be true is every day, every moment is that opportunity for newness. It's that opportunity to show up differently. It's that opportunity to say, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. And so let us be aware that if we are ever feeling that human need, that human tug, that we may be in a rut, that we can always self-correct. Because you see, as spiritual beings having this human experience, that is what we know to be true. We are always at choice. We always get to make decisions. We always get to do something different or embrace that which we have always done if that continues to serve. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this knowing. I'm grateful for knowing that there is no wrong, that there is no bad, and that there is the opportunity to make different choices. And as I know that and I allow that for myself, so too I allow that for every being on the planet. I claim God's grace for myself, and I claim and show and live and walk in God's grace for all. So I say thank you. I say thank you for this time together, for all of the extraordinary beings who have lent their time and their talent to this service in any way, in service to this service and in service to this community. I say thank you. I'm in a place of deep gratitude, the depth and breadth of which continues to expand. I release, I let go, I allow it to be. And we anchor this together by saying, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are. And now, my friends, speaking of money in the temple, this is our opportunity to give where we are spiritually fed. And we are so grateful for your gifts and for your offerings. It is through you that we are able to continue to take our message of oneness, of light, of love, of connectivity to all. And we have many ways for you to give. Those of you in the sanctuary, we are circulating the offering baskets once again. We have text to give, we have apps, we have the website. You can certainly mail something to us. And we are most grateful for all of those expressions. And if you would please join us in blessing and affirming the gifts in the offering. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
So I have a song, of course. I took a little bit of a Janice Stanfield or Daniel Namad, whichever you prefer, Bring It On. And then I rewrote my own verses just to fit for today. That's just sometimes what I have to do if I can't find something that seems perfect for all of you. Bring it on, everything new, everything different, as long as it's true. I am ready for the next thing to do. Bring it on, for me and for you. Do you remember Septembers when we were young and getting ready for school? Ready to go out and have some fun, and we'll have some learning. That's where the new thing began. Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. Aren't you ready for that next thing to do? Bring it on, for me and for you. Keep your eye on the rising sun. Just wait for the dawn to come with spirit in your heart. Do what's yours to do. That's the way a new beginning will start. Bring it on, everything new, yeah, everything different, everything true. I am ready for the next thing to do. How about you? Bring it on, for me and for you. Oh, bring it on. Don't tell Jana.
Bring it on with grace and ease. Oh my gosh, that is the truth of what we know to be true. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Karen. Oh, Herbie, honey, quit yawning. We're almost done. Only when I started speaking, not when you were singing. So, my friends, just a couple of reminders for you. Please do reach out to Reverend Doris. Her class starts tomorrow night. She is an expert in the area of finances, not only from a spiritual level, but from a personal level. So if you have ever had challenges or questions about any of that work, Reverend Doris literally wrote the book, and I would highly recommend her class. Also, next week, Palm Sunday. And here we are, Palm Sunday and Easter, always glorious occasions here at Unity on the Avenue. I invite you to get here early. We do anticipate a full house, and we very much look forward to celebrating that season with you. And for those who are here for the first time, welcome. You are part of this community. We honor you. We bless you. And for those who have been coming for years and perhaps decades, our wisdom keepers, we are grateful for you as well. And before we move into blessing our children, I would love to bless and honor and recognize a dear friend who is celebrating a birthday today. Joanne, happy birthday. On the day that you were born, the angels got together. And now we're back to speaking. I'm sorry, I digress. So if you would please join me in blessing our children, rubbing our hands together to create that energy. What we know to be true is you are loved, special, and important. We see you and bless the divine being that you are. And as we go forth into this week, what I know is you are strong, you are blessed, you are powerful beyond measure. You are that perfect child in whom God is well pleased. Our prayer for protection then, please join me. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go in power. Go in peace.
Bring it on. Everything new. Everything different. Everything true. I love you, you.